Chapter 8, Hotel Suite Project, Tutorial number 3. Hi, Joe Cerrone. Welcome to CAD 134. And we're going to go through tutorial number 3. Our learning objectives are to create a drawing of real-world applications of AutoCAD, create a layout for plotting the plan view of the hotel suite at a standard scale, create a drawing border and title block for the layout, set up and plot the layout, create a drawing template, utilize and reinforce the use of AutoCAD commands used in the previous chapters. So we continue to build on this tutorial. As we start to work on it, we'll use paper space for a layout of the model created and set and lock the scale of the drawing, create a drawing border and title block, and set up the plot and the layout. When we're done with this tutorial, we will have a scaled printout for the floor plan. We'll use these commands shown right here: opening drawings, zooming, panning, toggling between paper space and model space, viewport scale, locking and unlocking the viewport, grips, page setup, printing, rectangle, move, construction, etc. So we can open up the existing drawing, and I know we've been using the title block from the architectural applications for this course, the Oakton title block, but I'm just going to go straight by the book so that this makes sense. And so as we go through, we're going to open up this drawing. And so here, if I click on it, here's the drawing of our hotel floor plan. We are in model space, as you can see. And then if we go and we click on the layout tab, we will be on a layout in paper space, and you can see the paper space icon. So when we're in paper space, we can see this layout 1. Your drawing screen will look similar to that shown above. We have the icon right here for the paper space. We also have the ability to toggle between paper and model. And so as we take a look at it, this is what's called floating model space. And so if I click back here, double click in here, I'm in what's called floating model space. That gives me the ability to work on whatever's within that viewport. We can then use the mouse to set a scale within that viewport, or we can just pan and zoom simply by pushing the wheel on the mouse and turning the wheel on the mouse. And so we can dial in a scale to show us the floor plan drawing. And then what we'll do is we'll set 1/4 of an inch equals a foot for the viewport scale, and we'll lock it. So once we have the floor plan located in the viewport, we can select the viewport scale and then choose 1/4 of an inch equals a foot, and then we can lock that in place. Now mine is not fitting on this paper size, so I'm going to double click outside of the viewport, and I'm going to expand or make this a little larger. See if that helps. And that does. Double click in the viewport, set it at 1/4 of an inch equals a foot, and lock it. And it looks like theirs didn't fit either, and so they did the same thing. And so you can use these grips to resize the viewport so that you can get the drawing in at a scale. Once we've done that, we'll select the print and plot icon. And we'll set up the page to be plotted. I'm going to set this up as an A-size piece of paper on a PDF plotter. And so we'll go through and set that up, and then we'll create this title block. So back to our drawing, if we go to the print and plot, we have the ability to go through and set up which type of plotter we want. I'm going to say AutoCAD PDF, and we'll go with a high quality. Let's go with general, actually. I think this will be fine. We're going to set that up to plot to a layout, and we'll use the layout settings, and we'll preview that. And there we have it. You can right click and say exit. You can say center the plot. I guess we can't because when it goes to layout, it's going to go by its own settings for paper. And let's go back and take a look at the exercise. The next thing we'll do is we'll go through and we'll create their standard title block, and we'll do that in paper space. I'm going to make a layer called title block. I'm going to apply this to the layout so I can save it and say OK. It's going to want to create a name for that. I can throw this on my CAD 134 directory. And OK that. And it'll create the PDF of that file. And then continuing on, to be able to draw the title block itself, I'm going to double click outside here, and I'm going to get my textbook information for that. So whenever we create these title blocks, we'll create them in paper space. And so I'm going to make a layer, and I'm going to say new, and I'm going to call it title block. I'm going to make the color for this purple. I'm going to give it a line weight. I'm going to go with 0.6 millimeters. It'll have a continuous line weight, and I'll make it current. So whenever we draw or use text on a title block, we'll do that in paper space. And then what we'll do is we'll just use basic construction techniques here. I'm going to use my polar tracking, which means it'll draw in straight lines. So when I start to draw a line here, I'll get a tracking line, and I'll draw that up 1-1/4. I'll track it to the right, 2-2 divided by 2. And I want that to be tracking, so I'm going to hit escape. 2-2 divided by 2. Two dash 1/2. There we go. And then we'll bring this back. I'm going to turn on the O snap, which I believe is F3. And there we go. And then we're going to take a look at the other offsets here. And so we can offset this line 3/8, 1/4 of an inch, 3/16 as shown. We'll go to our offset command. We'll offset that 3/8. Repeat the offset command, 1/4 of an inch. Repeat the offset command, 3/16. Twice. And then we'll offset 1 1/4 and 1 7/8 for this vertical line. and 1 7/8 for the other one. We'll trim. Turn on a line weight button. And that's our title block. And we can locate that and move it until we're ready to put some text in there in this lower left-hand corner. All right, continuing on with the textbook. We're going to rename the layout. And so what we'll do is we'll right-click on the tab and rename that Plan View. Right-click on the Layout tab, rename, and it'll just be right down here. And so keep your focus on the Layout tab and right here, hit Enter. And now we have a model space and a Plan View Layout tab. We can then save our drawing. Big red A, save as, and I'm going to save this into my 134 directory. And this is going to be Chapter 8. And this will save it as a drawing file. We can hit save. And so what they're talking about in saving it as a template file here is, if we were to go with save as, what I would do is I would probably remove the geometry from it for the template file if we're going to be using that. But in this case, we're just going to say DWT, and then I'm going to put that also in the same location. And I'm just going to name it Hotel Suite Title Block, and it'll be a DWT file, which will be a template. You can add a description to the template. And so if we come back here, what they did was to erase all of the objects in model space. Make sure that you have it saved quite well. I haven't erased the geometry yet, but I will. And then we'll save it. And they saved it as interior design, and then they named it normal English feet and inch drawing. Template uses color-dependent plot styles. And we can say OK. And then I don't think I set it as color-dependent plot style, so when I go into the plot style here, here's where we would set that. And we can come in here and we could save that as AutoCAD, apply to layout, and OK that. And this would actually print it. So if I hit save, again, we'll see it print that. And then we can take the geometry out of it. Delete that. And come back to our plan view. And again, now we just have a blank title block. And we could save as drawing template. Here's our normal English. And I'm going to say OK. And now we have saved it as a template file. All right, that completes the third part of the tutorial for this drawing exercise.